Akan is a language group in West Africa in the region of present-day Ghana and Ivory Coast. In this area, the most powerful Akan kingdoms from even before the 12th century would have been the Asante, sometimes referred to as Ashanti. This region was known as the Gold Coast, and in fact, I think gold is still mined there today. Back in the day, gold dust and nuggets were used as currency. Consequently, you needed a good way to be able to accurately make a measurement of the gold that you were weighing out. So the Asante people created counterweights. These are made of brass or copper, and they were placed in a balance pan opposite another pan that had gold dust or gold nuggets in it. The original ones were like the two top right images. They were very geometric in design, and the reason, or abstract, and the reason for that is they reflect the influence from Islamic traders to the north. But very quickly, the power of the oral tradition in this region overcame that, and we begin to see images depicted. These are images that convey proverbs. The purpose of these, other than to be used as a gold weight, is that they help to reinforce social and political values. They help to remind us of our social responsibilities, the way in which we should behave in society, and sometimes they can also be used to relieve tensions between people. Instead of perhaps insulting your neighbor for bad behavior, you can just pass him a gold weight and remind him of his bad behavior, and who knows, maybe he would even take the hint. Okay, these images depict proverbs, and there are thousands of proverbs associated with the gold weights. The people who live in the region today don't remember them all, and I certainly don't know all of them, but let me introduce you to some of the ones that are the most well understood today and perhaps most reflective. This is coming from a region that had no writing. What we have instead of the traditional written word is visual language that actually depicts proverbs. Okay. The image that we are looking at of the, well, let me take us to the finger first. These are small. These are very small in size. So they are appropriate to weighing out very valuable gold. The one that is next to the slide next to the finger is of a turtle and a bird. Images like this and others can have more than one proverbial meaning associated with it. So let me take us to my text. Okay, here we go. These are two proverbs that might be associated with this. Okay, the first is, you must stick your neck out to go forward. And that, of course, applies to the turtle. The idea that it is necessary to take risks in life in order to be successful. The second proverb, probably more appropriate to this image, is, if you help others, you help yourself. This is a proverb in one form or another that is very prevalent in Akan culture in general, the idea that you should not just always think of yourself first. In this case, the birdie on top of the turtle, the birdie is apparently pecking at the head of the turtle, but what we think he's doing is removing a bug or removing some debris from the turtle's head. At that instant, he helps the turtle, but he also feeds himself and probably gets a free ride on the back of the turtle. So by helping others, you can also help yourself. Okay. This is a view into a case at the University of Pennsylvania in their museum. They have a lot of these. This is before the shows were reconstructed, so it may not resemble the way it looks today. But I would like to draw your attention to number 10, which is kind of to the right of middle of the bottom row of these weights that they have. And this is two depictions of peanuts. And the proverb that goes along with this, and there's more than one, quote, marriage is like a peanut. You must crack it to see what is inside. Okay? In other words, you can only tell what it will be like to be married when you actually do it. The peanut, though, could also be used in another way. It could be given by the mother-in-law to the new son who enters the family. And in that case, it means something entirely different. The proverb in that case is, quote, plant me ground nuts, think peanuts, not corn. And what this means is give my daughter a permanent, stable marriage. Corn has shallow roots and will fall over easily, but groundnuts, peanuts, have deep roots and will last forever. So it's essentially the voice of the mother-in-law telling you that you should behave and be a good husband. Okay. This is another one, the one on the right, which is labeled 9. That's at the University of Pennsylvania. The one on the left is simply another image of exactly the same thing. The proverb goes, if the mudfish in the stream eats and grows fat, it is to the advantage of the crocodile. What this means is that individual prosperity is good for everybody. It's good for the family. It's good for the community. So you shouldn't be jealous of your neighbor. You should help your neighbor. This is a kind of theme that runs through a number of these individual proverbs. More. The work that's on the left is a linguist staff. We're going to see another one at the end. So let me introduce it here with this example. It has on its very top a depiction of a proverb, and this is what the proverb says, quote, and it is a chicken and a rooster. Okay, quote, the hen knows when the sun rises, but she leaves it to the cock to crow. Okay, now I can actually hear the hair bristling on a number of feminists on the other side of the web right now. But I would like to defend the use of this proverb because what it's doing is reminding everybody in society of the public role that men are supposed to take, despite the society itself, which is matrilineal. Or in simpler terms, it reminds us of our gender responsibilities, which are different, perhaps similar in weight, but they are in fact different. And therefore, it helps to maintain the expectations of society. It reinforces the reminders for you of the way in which you should behave. The two that are on the right side of the slide, both of these, this is a really common weight. Both of them depict a birdie turning back. And the proverb that goes along with it, quite simply, is don't forget to look back. If we were in class, I'd ask you what you think this means. I think we would come to the conclusion that it means we have to take advantage of the past. We have to build on it. If we made a mistake, we need to learn from it. We also need to respect our heritage and our family traditions and our family line. The top trio there, they're all located in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The one that is on the left in that row is an elephant. The two images at the bottom, different views of another elephant. So this again is a kind of popular proverb. This is the proverb, quote, he who follows the track of the elephant never gets wet from the dew of the grass. Okay, what that means is that great men are the ones to come along and clear the path for the rest of us, the lesser individuals, to follow. And it reinforces roles, I think, within society. And it also encourages us to recognize the achievements of others. All of these are devices that can teach social behavior, social responsibility within society. Okay, I have included this particular example because it's a linguist staff, and linguist staffs are showing up in a number of art books, recent editions of art books, and I thought it might benefit you to be aware of them. The artist who produced the two images, these are filials on top of a long staff. They depict exactly the same proverb. They were both made by Ose Bansu, He is a carver who lived in Ghana from 1900 to 1977, and he is one of the renowned carvers from this region. This is a decoration that would go on the top of a staff used by what is referred to as a linguist. Okay, what a linguist really is a kind of spokesperson for the king. He's an advisor to the king. He's a counselor to the king. He gives advice, but maybe at the end of the day, the best I can do is describe him as the quote unquote press secretary for the king, because he defends the king's decisions, especially in cases where they might be controversial or where someone might come forward and try and challenge the king's authority. So he's a very important player in terms of the political power of the king. A king might have more than one linguist or counselor advising him, but he would have at a minimum one. Banzu, our carver, was the chief carver for three Asante kings, or as they're known, Asante Hennes. These are absolute monarchs with total complete power. If you take a look at the 2004 photograph down in the lower right, you can see that the traditions continue into the 21st century. And in this case, the staff filial, the images that are at the top of the staff that I have in the upper right of our page that Bonsu carved, refers to this proverb, quote, "Food is for the man who owns it, not for the man who is hungry." And the reference is made clear as the owner of the food puts his hand on it. The other person suggests hunger either with a mouth gesture or by putting a hand to the face, suggesting he would like to put the food in his mouth. But in both of these instances, food is a metaphor for power, in particular for the king's power. And it is a reminder that the king has the right to it. You do not, because you do not hold the position of king. These images then can be used for political purposes as well as to encourage good moral behavior within society.